One of the most familiar passages of Scripture that we find in the Old Testament is Psalm 23. It's very, very well known, and the revelation that we have of God there is the Lord as our shepherd. In fact, many of us are so familiar with this psalm that it sometimes can lose its impact upon us. Psalm 23 is packed with some amazing promises. Just think of it for a moment. The Lord is your shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. That means that God is our guide. He's the one who guides us through life. And we're told that the Lord is our shepherd. We shall not be in want. And that means that we don't need to lack anything. God has promised to be our provider. He makes us lie down in green pastures. He leads us beside still waters. He refreshes us. He provides for us. He provides for our needs. He restores our soul. Just think of how important that is. Those times in life when you feel as though you've given all that you can give. You feel as if you have nothing left emotionally or spiritually. But God restores our soul. He leads us into green pastures. He takes us to places that are good for us, that are refreshing for us. What an amazing God we have. And then he tells us that even though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we need fear no evil. I don't think that David here in Psalm 23 is necessarily talking about those final moments of life when we face the enemy of death, or perhaps I should say those final moments in life when Jesus takes us home to be with himself. I think he's talking about those times in life when we're in tight spots, we're in hard places, we're in difficult places, but he's with us. Even though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we don't need to fear evil. We don't need to fear what's going on around us, because God is with us. Our shepherd is with us. Isn't that amazing? That he's with you in every tight spot, in every difficult situation. And then it tells us that his rod and his staff, they comfort us. The rod that's referred to here is probably a club that shepherds used for fending off wild animals. And the staff refers to the sort of staff that we're maybe familiar with when we think of shepherds. The staff is used to keep the sheep from straying, to keep them together, to keep them close to the shepherd. What an amazing picture that is, that God fights our battles. He fights off our enemies. He stands for us. And then he keeps us close to him. He doesn't let us stray. He's committed to us. He's committed to our welfare and our well-being. And then we're told that he spreads a table for us. He takes us to himself, and he prepares a feast for us. Some of the commentators in Psalm 23 think that the image is changed here from one of the shepherd to one of a great host preparing a feast for his guests and his friends. Well, that may be the case, it may not be the case. Some others think it's about the shepherd taking the sheep up to the tablelands, to the good pastures, and providing a nourishing feast for them there. Well, whatever the case is, whatever the correct interpretation, the picture is one of God providing for us and his very best in every situation, in every episode of our lives. And then the psalm ends with, "Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." Sometimes we are tempted to look over our shoulders and wonder what's going on, who's got my back, or what's happening behind my back. Well, I want you to know that goodness and mercy are behind your back. Goodness and mercy are following you. Whatever anyone else is trying to do, or anything else is trying to do, whatever the enemy is trying to do, goodness and mercy are following you. And you will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Wow. What incredible promises we get in the 23rd Psalm. What incredible promises are associated with the revelation of the Lord as our shepherd. Or disqualify yourself because your lack of strength or because of your lack of experience. The Lord Almighty is with you, and he's the one who is able to accomplish great things through you. Like the Apostle Paul, you're able to say, that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, because the Lord Almighty is with you, and the God of Jacob is your fortress.